Hallihallo, herzlich willkommen auf unserer großen, schönen Gamescom-Bühne. Ich bin das erste Mal jetzt hier auf Sendung und bin sehr gespannt auf den ersten großen Titel. Eben hatten wir noch Dying Light 2 in dem Buddy-Büro. Jetzt haben wir Nightcall, ein kleinerer Titel, den uns Nintendo vorbeibringt. Deswegen spielen wir auch gleich auf der Switch. Und ich switche auch ins Englische jetzt gleich. Denn an meiner Seite sind zwei Leute vom Entwickler, von Monkey Moon und Black Muffin Studio. Welcome to our stage. Nice to have you here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Could you maybe introduce yourself at first?
Yeah, of course. So my name is Anthony. I'm the writer of Nightcall.
Nice.
And my name is Laurent, and I'm the programmer and project lead on the thing.
Okay, and for now you only showed a teaser trailer, and yesterday you've been at the Nintendo stream.
Yeah. Nintendo Indie Highlights that was broadcasted yesterday.
Cool. I mean, the Switch is nearly the perfect indie console, so it makes sense that Nightcall is on Switch, but you will have it on PC and the other platforms too, right?
Yeah, exactly. PS4, Xbox, and PC and Mac. Yes.
At first, I have to ask: has the title something to do with Kavinsky's Nightcall from the awesome Drive soundtrack?
When we started working on the idea of the game, we were really inspired by some movies, and Drive was one of them. So the name stuck, and even if we clearly don't have the budget to use the song in the game, the title was exactly what we were looking for.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But it hasn't that many colors of Drive. It's a noir title.
Yeah.
It's a narrative title, a narrative story-driven game. In the noir style. How did it come?
But it's simple because we wanted to show Paris differently, because usually people have that cliche of Paris with the romantic city, the city of light, the city of love, and as French people we know that Paris can be different with dark aspects, and the black and white gives us a very comfy space to explain and express all the narrative of the game, so it fits pretty well.
Awesome, I'm really excited about it, so maybe let's start to the demo.
Sure. Yeah.
Where's the controller? Yeah, there. Alright. You're a taxi driver in Paris, okay. Is your studio in Paris?
No. Actually no. we both lived in Paris for a while, but I live in Bordeaux in the southwest, and he lives in Lyon in the southeast.
Okay. All right. For the past 4 months, a serial killer has been slaying people in the so-called City of Light. It's a pre-alpha demo that you've worked on the last weeks.
Yeah.
A lot of crush time, I guess.
Yes.
No, it never happened. No, never.
Okay. So what is maybe the game about? What's the main point about the game?
So you play a taxi driver in Paris, and you were attacked by a serial killer, and as you leave the hospital, you decide to investigate by yourself. So the game is part you being a taxi driver, meeting customers, driving them around, listening to their stories. And if you make the right choices, if you talk to the right persons, you will get new information about the killer. And the second half of the game is you getting home and using a big investigation board, pretty much like the ones you see in every thriller movie or TV shows, and you investigate. You try to find who is the real killer.
Don't spoil.
Yeah, I was going to say his name suddenly. No.
Okay.
But the thing you have to know is that the game has right now we have 3 killers.
Because it's a non-linear narrative game.
It's a non-linear experience. So if you play the game and I play the game, we're going to get different customers, we're going to get different killers, and we can even get similar customers, but then they're going to tell different stories.
That's great, because then I can play more than one time
Yeah,
and
exactly.
have another experience.
Yeah. We really want to have a lot of content, not because we want players to play everything. We want player to play the game, but have different experiences inside the same game.
Great.
So this is one of the first characters we actually wrote like a year ago now. And so you'll see the path that you have to take, and on the bottom you have like a small screen with how much money it will give you.
It's worth noting that we scripted the passenger appearance for the demo, but in the final game they will just pop up around your taxi, and you will be able to drive everywhere you want, because now the area is very small, but in the final game you will have access to the full map of Paris. It's something like 100 square kilometers, so it's a lot of road and it's a really big city, and you will be able to drive everywhere, and sometimes some passengers will appear, and
so it's like random encounters.
Yeah,
something,
absolutely.
okay.
It's pseudo-random because it's also based on your choices and the decision you made. But it's very important for you to have passengers in your car, because if you drive, for example, let's say to the last crime scene, if you drive there without any passenger, you will actually lose money, because you will have to pay for your gas, and you will still have to pay for your rent or cigarettes or things like that. So the management will be to choose the right passenger to go in the direction you want to go to investigate that part of the city.
Sounds nice. Are there any influences in the style? I mean, it's like, I like the style a lot. It's a bit like Sin City or something.
Yeah, of course. I think the two artists working on the game have a very specific style, and it's true that when we started working on it, we didn't have to spend a lot of time trying to find the right art. It was almost instantly. It was like, that's it. That's exactly what we want for the game. Of course, we have a lot of inspirations. Sin City is a good one. I'm also a huge fan of Collateral with Tom Cruise and Jamie Foxx, which is one of my favorite movies ever. So I'm really happy to have that. We like noir, Taxi Driver, of course, but maybe authors like Elmore Leonard.
It's a bit slower than Taxi Driver.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's
for now, but it's just the beginning.
Yeah. And there is one Belgian author that I really like, and I think it really helped me to find voices in all the characters, and it's really important, yeah.
And the story of this guy is very interesting, because it's one of the light passengers that we have, and this one is a funny one. He is just in love, and is ready to change his whole conception of life now that he is in love. And it's pretty cool with Nightcall, because you end up with a total stranger, and sometimes you can share secrets with him and tell him things, and the passengers do that all the time. So you are going to meet very sad passengers, and very happy ones, and very weird ones, and very drunk ones, because you are in Taxi in Paris.
Oh. Are some passengers based on real people you met?
Almost every passenger. Twitter.
Yeah.
Thank you, Twitter.
It was very important for us to create characters that are inspired by, or at least tell stories that happen to actual people. So of course you have some very wacky or weird or scary characters. We even have a cat. We even have a ghost. But at the same time, most of the characters are real human beings, and you will just your life is gonna cross their life just for 10 minutes, and it is very important for us to create this kind of strange atmosphere where suddenly a stranger will tell you everything about his life,
and to the audience, if you recognize yourself in the game, know that we have a very big legal department, so you won't be able to sue us.
But I have to read not that slow, because we're driving, and there's a story I have to read. So is it like I have to skip, and I have to read, and if I read the most things, then it's better? Or is it like, because I know then more things, or is it like it's not that important?
With a lot of passengers, you can just say nothing, and you will completely miss the passengers.
Oh, okay.
Because some of them have very deep stories and deep things to share, but if you don't answer them, you will miss them. So it depends, and some of them will have some clues and documents for you for your investigation, very crucial for your investigation. If you make the wrong choices, and if you happen to say nothing, you will completely miss the investigation. If you miss the investigation, the game is over. So you have to read, actually.
So there's a game over? No.
Yeah.
You can.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The idea is that the police forces the driver to investigate for some reasons, and if he doesn't manage to catch the killer, the game is over.
Oh, okay.
And in the other hand, if you don't manage to pay for your bills and to pay for your gas and cigarettes and stuff, the game will be over because you won't have your taxi anymore to investigate.
Yeah.
So you have to find the right balance between the two, and the management part happens here. So you have to be nice with clients to get some tips, to get enough money to continue investigating, and you have to do both.
Is it hard for you to find that balance as a developer?
Ha!
Yes, mostly because I spend just too much money on stupid stuff. But yes. Yeah, we kind of missed the reveal, but it's not a game that is easy to demo. I think this game will be. I mean, the way we envision it, it's going to be perfect in your bed by yourself with the headphones. But he was wearing a toupee and he just took it out, and he's gonna forget his wig on the in the cab with you. So you're gonna see him again. Actually, his character, not in the demo, but in the actual game, you will see him again, and he will tell you about how his life improved and how things are better for him now that he accepts the fact that he's bald, which is. It's not based on an actual story, of course. It's called imagination.
Yeah.
I don't have anything. I'm not bold. Okay. But this is very important that we have characters that you're going to see again. You have characters that you're going to meet more than once. Characters you're going to see just for 5 minutes and then they're going to disappear forever. So we have a very, very diverse, very strange cast, and I really hope that people will enjoy the characters very much and talk about them and share stories about them.
Cool. But actually you can't say how long the game is, because it's...
It's going to depend on how you play, but we see that one game, so if you start the game and you play until you catch a killer, it's probably between 7 to 10 hours. And then we have 3 killers. We have more than 70 characters. Sorry, you have more than 150 stories. So there is way too much content. Okay,
yeah,
and this is
words.
And this is my fault.
Too many words.
I wrote just too many words. So yeah, we are reaching 200,000 words, which is like a very big Tolkien book.
Wow.
So yeah, it's yeah.
And how many people are working on the title?
The core team is actually 5 people.
Wow.
And we are now 12 from time to time, because we have some freelancer joining us, and we have also the localization team who is working like crazy on that game because too many words. But the very core team is 5 people.
That's crazy.
So
many words and
now
so many stories.
Now that I'm saying that, it's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, when we started working on the game a year ago, it was like, oh, it's going to be a small game. You know, it's going to be done in a year, and here we are.
Here we are.
I think that's what happened to most games. You know, the scope just explodes.
Yeah, it's better to have more than too few.
Yeah, there is a lot of things not shown in the demo right now, but you will be able to listen to the radio. You're going to be able to buy cigarettes and buy newspapers. By listening to the radio, you'll be able to get new information about the killer, or you're going to get new information about restaurants in Paris. Then when someone's going to ask you for a restaurant, you're going to be able to lead them to the right place.
What about the soundtrack when I turn up the radio? I mean, it can do it?
Yes, that's going to be just text, unfortunately, because we don't have... Well, we don't
it's a license thing.
Yes, yes. We're not Rockstar, unfortunately. So
Not yet.
Not yet, but soon.
Not yet.
Okay.
In 10 years...
10 years.
Here again. Sorry, 5 years.
In 5 years.
5 years.
Yeah,
Of
thank
course.
you.
Yeah,
No, honestly, it's yeah, it was one of our first ideas, but it's crazily expensive. So we're not going to do it. But you'll be able to get new information, and you're going to be able to use the radio as a tool to make your investigation
And
easier.
also regarding the soundtrack, is worth noticing that some passengers have their own soundtrack. Because some are very deep and very emotional, and they needed to have a very special music going with them. So yeah, a lot of work on music too. At least as much work on graphics and music. So yeah, and I think it's interesting to see that we try to have this, movie aspect with cutscenes and stuff. Stuff you don't usually have in visual novels.
I think you should. Yeah,
You
click
weren't
on OK.
You weren't nice, obviously.
Yeah, you
no
didn't
tip.
do the right choices. so
Yeah,
you
no
get,
tip.
no tip.
Whew.
And if you go on End Shift, we can show you the room. Once again, it's a very pre-alpha demo, so the place is not very tidy.
How long is it in development now?
A year now?
I think it's 14 months.
Yeah,
or
14.
15 months, something like 14 months, I think. We actually started in June.
Too much and not enough in the same
Yeah,
time.
yeah. Yeah, so you have to take care of your bank account. You have to make sure you have enough money so you don't get fired and then you lose the game. So pretty much like life.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very moral game.
I like that. Oh, okay.
So yeah, this is very rough, but we
But
like
you
it.
are in your room, and it's the place where you can investigate and gather clues. And if you made the right choices with the right passengers, you will have new documents on the table.
Okay.
So if you skip the dialogue, you'll go directly on the table, and
I
you
see.
will be able to analyze documents. And you, in the final game, you will have a timeline because your nights are limited. So you will have to choose wisely what to investigate and what to analyze and what to spend time on. So now you have discovered some clues, and if you point, yeah, they are linked to suspect profiles. So everything is very rough right now because it's still pre-alpha, but you will be able to gather the clues, analyze them, and it will be important for you to notice the right clues and the fake clues because they will somehow point to different suspects, and you will have to understand them, analyze them, and if you remember them correctly, it will help you catching the killer, and especially when the killer will be in the back of your cab. So
Yeah. We spend a lot of... No, don't press that button, please. Don't press the unnight button. Or
Sorry.
it will kill your console.
it's a very
Oh,
pre-alpha.
yeah,
Please do not touch the unnight, like at any time,
Yeah.
even
Thank you,
even
thank
in
you.
your life. What was really important for us is we're not gonna hold your hand. So you're gonna get clues, you're gonna get suspects, you're gonna get documents, but then the game is not gonna tell you you made the right choice, you made the wrong choice. It's up to you until the day you find the killer or you are killed by the killer, of course. But what is very important for us is we want to put the player into the shoes of anyone who is not a cop who has to actually investigate. So they don't have specific tools. They are just human beings. They use rumors. They use newspaper articles or things like that to investigate. But they are just like everyone else. They're just regular
player.
human. They are completely random. Yeah. So, and this is very important for us to create that atmosphere or of you actually decided yourself to investigate, but you're not Sherlock Holmes. Okay, so you're not gonna have amazing insights or everything. You have to deal with the cards you have in your hand.
Okay. What is the most challenging part in development for you? To do it with so few people, or
I think to me as a programmer, I think the writing is clearly the most challenging part because he has to create passengers that are very diverse, but with a tone that can be credible and understood as French and Parisian. So it has to be diverse, but kind of the same, but different, but not so different. So we end up with a very vast cast of passengers, and every passenger is different. And helped with the awesome art of Black Muffin, we have real passengers, and it's very cool with that game because the narrative is the heart of the game. And if you take every small stories of every passenger and combine them together, you get a bigger story. And this one is more about the city, is more about the country and the place in the world and stuff like that. So I think the writing is really impressive.
Oh, thank you.
Because he writes only when he's drunk, so
Yes.
it's really impressive.
So I'm drunk
all the time.
24
Yeah, he's drunk right
24/7.
now. Yeah.
I'm drunk right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you have to be creative, and
Creativity.
that's the best creative time.
Yeah, if I can answer the question, I would say that the hardest part is to polish things. Yeah, it's quite easy to have a feature in a game. It's quite easy to have interface. It's quite easy to have things appearing on screen. But to make them perfectly right and to give the player the right idea, the right feeling, the right emotion, it's so much work.
Yeah, I guess. Is it in that way difficult to develop for PC and this platform and Switch, or is it
Globally,
okay?
globally the development is the same, and we are helped by Raw Fury on that. So they take care of the ports and they let us focus on the PC version and do that right to be sure that when the PC version is right, we know that the other version will be okay. So it's technically it's not on our ends to do that, but we have to supervise the port to be sure that everything is in place. So it's complicated, but not that complicated.
In what way does Nintendo help while developing? I mean,
Exposure.
Yeah, exposure.
Exposure.
Well, they were so nice. They invited us to come to Gamescom. They gave us we have a spot at the booth. So if you're at Gamescom and you want to play the game, it's possible to do it at the Nintendo booth. And it's really it's a great opportunity. They really care about indies. They really care about different games, and that's very important. We have 10 games on the booth right now, and they couldn't be more different. it's crazy. So
yeah, I mean, for me, it's the perfect indie platform, and
I say it's a bed game. It's a game you want to play in your bed.
And the platform for that is perfect. But you have to understand that if Nintendo is so successful today, it's thanks to Anthony, because he gives them so much money. So yeah, it's cool. It's very cool.
Yes, I have an amiibo issue. I know that.
But yeah, the platform is awesome, really, and we are proud to have that game on that platform right now. Yeah.
And you told me before the show that Nintendo has any new system in indie system.
So they are starting a new label that I think it's called Nintendo Indie Highlights. So they want to create they want to select indies that they really like, and they want to put them a bit forward on the shop and during events and everything. So that's why yesterday they had a showcase. They broadcasted a showcase with maybe like 20 games or 18 games, something like that. And we were the first one on the broadcast, so that was quite a surprise. But they also announced games like Slay the Spire on Switch. We had some news for Wargroove and games like that, and the Gardens. And they actually released another game from Raw Fury. So Bad North came out yesterday during the broadcast. So I think that they really understood that people like the indie scene on the Switch, and they care about it. I think they care about it deeply. That's my personal feeling.
As a player and as a game developer, you want to be on Switch because it's Nintendo with everything that represents Nintendo, and you want to be there.
So they are really helpful.
Yes,
for you.
Yeah.
I mean, so far, yeah.
So
and finally, do you have a release date, or is it like 2019?
It's for me.
It's for you.
2019. 2019.
Okay.
We have a lot of work still, and To be really honest, it's really hard. We spent an entire year on the game, and it's actually the first time we're showing it to the. But we had we had a trailer at E3, and that was amazing. But then people are actually playing the game for the first time, and they are giving us a lot of feedback. So we need to go back to the drawing board and be like, okay, how can we make this experience even better? And yeah.
Oh man, I wish you all the best.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah,
and it's coming for PC, Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and Switch.
And Switch.
You said it.
And Mac.
Great.
That's what I said.
Thank you
so much
for joining us. It was really a pleasure. Wish you all the best. Das war unser Ersteindruck mit Nightcall. Ein kleiner, feiner Titel, der auch neben den ganzen großen, finde ich zumindest, einiges hermacht, zumindest im Stil und in all dem, was die beiden eben auch schön so erzählt haben. Gleich geht's weiter mit, wenn ich das richtig auf dem Schirm habe, Dennis und Tropico 6 im Buddy-Büro. Deswegen bleibt auf jeden Fall dran. Viel Spaß mit dem weiteren Programm hier. Bis gleich. Thank you.